In the summer of 1812, Napoleon Bonaparte marched 600,000 elite soldiers into Russia. By winter, fewer than 50,000 were left alive. The blame was the brutal cold, but history left out a terrifying detail. The killing started months before the first snowflake fell. The very shelters these soldiers built to survive actually bred the hidden biological reason that destroyed the army from the inside out. It wasn't that the bugs ate the food supply. It was much more intimate. The insects were using the soldiers' own bodies as a habitat and then contaminating the very spaces where the soldiers prepared food. When the Institut Pasteur in Paris ran advanced DNA sequencing on those soldiers' teeth from the Vilnius mass grave, they didn't find traces of starvation or even the classic camp typhus everyone expected. Instead, they discovered two specific, unsuspected bacterial diseases working in tandem. One, louse-borne relapsing fever, Borrelia recurrentis. This bacterium was injected directly into the soldiers' bloodstreams by body lice. Because the dark peasant cottages they sheltered in were infested, the lice lived in the seams of the soldiers' dirty blankets and uniforms. It caused agonizing, recurring waves of high fever and physical collapse.
2. Paratyphoid fever, Salmonella enterica. This is a severe enteric fever spread through food and water contaminated by bacteria. Because these crowded, unsealed shelters had zero sanitation, the pathogen spread aggressively across surfaces, cooking areas, and water buckets inside the walls.
When we talk about self-sufficiency, we obsess over the obvious. Growing food, harvesting rain, or ramming the earth beneath our feet into walls. But we consistently ignore the most critical vulnerability of any off-grid homestead. If you cannot protect your space from the crawling, microscopic world, your fortress becomes a breeding ground. And if your only solution is a synthetic chemical spray, you aren't self-sufficient. You're just dependent on a different corporate supply chain.
While Chrysanthemum cinerariifolium contains pyrethrin, a potent natural insect neurotoxin, simply growing the flower won't protect your home. Live plants don't release this compound into the air. An insect has to physically eat the flower to feel it. To make it a functional spray, commercial manufacturers must harvest, grind, and chemically extract the compound, often adding synthetic stabilizers because natural pyrethrin breaks down under sunlight within hours. We are skipping temporary, supply chain-dependent band-aids like this in favor of truly long-term, self-sustaining solutions. Capillary gaps and parge cores. Crawling insects like ants, termites, and beetles frequently use microscopic structural cracks or the textured surface of masonry to climb. Applying a mirror-smooth lime parge or a specialized non-porous cementitious finish along the bottom 18 inches of an exterior wall removes the mechanical grip needed for insects to scale the perimeter. Sloped architectural thresholds. All windowsills, ledges, and transition joints must be pitched downward at an angle greater than 45 degrees. This simple geometric change prevents the accumulation of organic debris, moisture, and dust, eliminating the microhabitats that attract foraging insects. Positive pressure passive breezeways. By shaping roofs and positioning windows to leverage local prevailing winds, you can create a passive wind tunnel effect. When internal air velocity slightly exceeds external velocity at narrow entry thresholds, flying insects, such as mosquitoes and midges, cannot overcome the headwind to enter.
You don't need to spray harsh chemicals or spend a fortune to bug-proof your home. If you turn off the lighthouse by switching to warm yellow lights and plant a living shield of marigolds and lemongrass around your perimeter, you solve about 80% of your pest problems for next to nothing. You aren't fighting nature. You're just convincing it to go somewhere else.
Now, physical engineering is our ultimate shield against invaders. But sometimes you just want immediate airborne protection for an evening out on the porch.
As a bonus for those looking for a fast-acting, tactical defense, here is an active formula you can put together tonight to keep your immediate space completely free of pests.